Motion, it means movement, or we can say it as the change in position of an object with respect to time. See, living things can move. Even non-living things can move with the application of force. We know about different types of motion. You can see here in this slide, vibratory motion, linear motion, we call it as rectilinear motion also, curvilinear motion, rotatory motion, circular motion, and oscillatory motion. When the object is stationary, that is, when the object is not moving, then it is said to be in the state of rest. So we can define rest as a body is said to be at rest if its position does not change with respect to a fixed point in its surroundings. You can see the examples: a book lying on the table, a bench fixed in a park. Motion, how can it be defined? A body is said to be in motion if its position continuously changes with respect to its surrounding changes with time. Examples are given: a flying bird, a boy playing football. Further, an object may appear to be moving to one person and the object may appear to be at rest to another. Let us look at this picture. The man at the bus stop finds the children in school bus to be in motion, but a child in the bus finds his friends at rest along with him. Thus, we can say that the state of rest and motion are relative. When we describe motion of an object, we have to choose or specify a suitable reference point. If I say my house is 1 kilometer east from our school, there we choose school as the reference point. And 1 kilometer east of the school, my house will be located. This reference point is also called the origin. Okay, now we used to write mass of an object as 5 kg. Suppose mass of an object is given m equal to 5 kg. Okay, as you have studied in maths, length of a rectangle, it is 5 centimeter. We got these values by measurement. So the property of a material that can be quantified by measurement is known as physical quantity. It can be expressed as the combination of magnitude and unit. As I said, mass is 5 kg, that is m equal to 5 kg. That 5, the numerical, we call it as magnitude. And kilogram, kg, it is the unit in which it is measured. So this type of quantities which can be measured, we call them as physical quantity. Physical quantity can be described as scalar and vector quantities. A scalar quantity is that physical quantity which has only magnitude. For example, time, temperature, it has only magnitude. But a vector quantity has magnitude as well as direction. So we will learn more examples of vector quantity as we go further. Okay, suppose when direction is mentioned along with magnitude, the physical quantity becomes more specific, isn't it? Suppose your friend tells you that he has kept your bicycle 50 meters from school. You will be facing difficulty to find your bicycle. If he had mentioned that the direction where he has kept, the task becomes easy. Let us look at another picture here. Just see, the boy is starting with his bicycle. He is at point A. He started from A, he traveled to B, he reached his house, traveled 4 meters, and from B he starts his journey to a point C. 3 meters he covers then. So what is the total path covered by him? Actual path covered by him is 4 plus 3 meter, that is 7 meter. This actual path covered by him, it is known as the distance covered by him. So 7 meter is the distance covered by the boy. The boy is now finally at the position C or at the point C. So the boy initially he was at A and the boy is finally at C. So how much the boy has been displaced from his initial position? So for that we have to take the shortest distance from the initial to the final position. So the shortest distance you can see with the black line drawn, it is 5 meter. This shortest distance we call it as displacement. The boy has been displaced from A to C. How much it is? It is 5 meter. So displacement is a vector quantity. It needs the direction also. Distance covered that we got it as 7 meter. It is a scalar quantity. Now if the person travels and comes back to the initial position, just see this picture. The boy started his journey. He reached A to B, B to C, C to D, and from D to A. Finally, he reached A. What is the total distance traveled by him? 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5. That is 16 meter. That is the total distance traveled by him. Now, he started his journey from A. He reached A itself. So, how much is this displacement? It is the shortest distance between initial and final position. The boy reached at the same position where he started from. So the displacement is 0. Now if the person moves in the same direction in a straight line, distance and displacement becomes equal. If he turns back and travels, then distance and displacement become unequal. So we can conclude. Before that, just have a look on this slide also. A is the initial position of the body. Through the path red line, he has traveled and reached B. That shows his distance covered. And what is his displacement? It is the shortest distance from initial to final position. That is its displacement. So we can conclude distance and displacement by this slide. See, distance is the length of the path traveled by a body while moving from an initial position to final position. Displacement is the shortest distance between the initial and final position of the body. Distance, it is a scalar quantity. Displacement, it is a vector quantity. Distance measured is always positive. It is a scalar quantity. It is always positive. Displacement, it can be positive, negative. Now distance, the total distance covered is equal to the algebraic sum of all the distances traveled in different directions. The net displacement is the vector sum of the individual displacements in different directions. In distance, there is always a distance covered whenever there is a motion. Whenever the body is moving, means some distance has to be covered by the body. Displacement will be 0 if the body comes back to its initial position. What is the sixth point? Both distance and displacement have the unit as meter. SI unit is meter. Thank you.